Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. I'm Fredicia Liebert. The Republic of China, Taiwan, today, Tuesday, December 4th, made a presentation of funds to the Ministry of Health. As he made the presentation, His Excellency Tom Lee, Resident Ambassador of the Republic of China, Taiwan, to St. Kitts and Nevis, noted that the embassy is always working hard to make sure more and more people in the Federation benefit from Taiwan's cooperation projects.
The main purpose of why we are here is to present a check in the amount of 167,000 United States dollars as a part of the funding for the project of controlling and prevention of chronic kidney disease, CKD. And the amount is meant to procure hemodialysis machines and the related water systems, etc. And I firmly believe in the near future, all the CKD patients, they don't have to travel to St. Kitts anymore. They can enjoy the service in Nevis.
Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley, who accepted on behalf of the Ministry of Health, noted that non-communicable diseases continue to be a major threat to our healthcare system in terms of morbidity and cost.
In our statistical analysis of the region suggests that it's a regional problem and that 8 out of every 10 deaths are attributable to NCDs. That for us is really a crisis, and it therefore means that we have to do more. It consumes a tremendous part of our budget each year to treat NCDs, and so we need to do more. And what the specialists and the technical people are saying to us is that with changes in lifestyle, changes in eating habits, moderate exercise and the like, that we can limit, if not eliminate, much of the NCDs that trouble us.
He also noted that Ambassador Lee continues to demonstrate the close friendship that the two countries enjoy.
The Taiwanese government has been involved with the federal government, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, and more specifically with the Nevis Island administration on a number of initiatives. And one of the main initiatives has been a health initiative dealing with the whole issue of renal care. We have had a very good exchange of personnel. We have had people who have gone to Taipei for training in different batches, and we have had, of course, a tremendous level of interest and involvement. And so we think that the program that we've embarked upon over the past 3 years has been timely and critical, and I think that it speaks to the level to which the government and people of Taiwan has always been interested in not just buildings or roads, which are important, but developing the human capacity. And so for us, that is the type of development that is long-lasting.
The Premier, in turn, handed over the check to Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Nicole Slack-Liebert. Also present were Gary Pemberton, Administrator at the Alexandra Hospital, Cynthia Young, First Secretary at the Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan, and Feng Tatai of the Taiwanese International Cooperation and Development Fund. The following is a notice from the Premier's Ministry. All pastors and members of the clergy on Nevis are invited to a very important meeting to be held with the St. Kitts and Nevis National Marijuana Commission. The meeting will take place at 10 a.m. on Thursday, December 6th, 2018 at the St. Paul's Anglican Church Hall in Charlestown. Area representative for the parish of St. George's, the Honorable Eric Evelyn, commended the staff and students of the Gingerland Secondary School for attaining the best results in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis for 3 consecutive years at the school's graduation and prize-giving ceremony on Thursday, November 29th at the Eden Brown Church of God.
Because of the phenomenal performance of the school, of the students for 2018, I felt compelled to make a presentation of my own. And I'm here this morning to make a presentation to the Gingerland Secondary School. And I would like to call Mrs. Williams to come forward, because of course we know that the performance of the school would have been achieved through some very, very tremendous challenges We've heard that the part of the school was a construction site. They had to endure the noise, they had to endure the dust, and they had to endure so much more. And I believe when the teachers were getting the students prepared for exams, they had the motto of the school at the back of their minds.
Minister Evelyn presented the principal of the school, Lynette Williams, with a donation and made a commitment to his alma mater.
Today is a historic moment for me because it is the first graduation I'm attending as the area representative for the school. And it is a very historic moment for the school as well with the achievement. And they have gained a hat trick. And I want them to continue. And so I'm going to make a presentation to the school. It's maybe just a drop in the bucket, but I'm going to make a presentation for $1,500.
He also thanked the teachers and graduates for the outstanding performance in the 2018 Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC examinations and the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence CCSLC examinations. The graduation and prize-giving ceremony was held under the patronage of Mr. and Mrs. Chesley Manners and had as its theme "Through Difficulties to the Stars." Still to come,
I'm glad that they have taken the chance to honor me.
The details after this break.
Hey girl, what's up?
What brings you by?
Girl, I got awesome news from Inland Revenue Department.
What awesome news that? The only news that I get from the department is that they got to spend money. What the news be?
The Inland Revenue Department is waiving all interest on your outstanding property tax bills in excess of $100.
What? What are you saying? So wait, if my interest is $1,000, how much I got to pay?
All you're required to pay is the $100 and the outstanding tax due. If for some reason you are unable to pay your property tax in full this month, the department is also offering payment arrangement plans to make settlement easier. But remember, you have to come to the department between November 1st and December 31st to qualify.
Inland Revenue doing big things. I like it. This is a great way to encourage payment and still allowing the taxpayer to save some dollars.
So girl, look at it this way. You can use your extra $900 on the VAT reduction day in December. So be a responsible tax citizen and get your property taxes paid in full.
Welcome back. The Nevis Air and Seaports Authority, NASPA, has made presentations to the Department of Education of gifts that will benefit 5 of the island's schools. The presentation follows NASPA's recent production of a documentary about the jobs of persons employed by the Port Authority.
We thought that this documentary is not only important for the general public to be aware of what happens there, but also for the schools, or for the students to be aware of the different jobs that we have at the Port Authority. There are a number of jobs that we have there, including marine officers, engineers. We also have security officers, Met officers, air traffic controllers, accountants, cashiers, so many jobs. And we feel that if the students can get an understanding of these different jobs, that they would be able to direct their career along certain fields.
3 copies of the documentary will be presented to the Charlestown Secondary School, Gingerland Secondary, and Nevis International Secondary Schools were accepted by Principal Education Officer Zanella Claxton. Meantime, Shelley Weeks, Chief Operations Officer at the Long Point Port, made a second presentation to the Department of Education on behalf of NASPA.
This year we are celebrating 21 years of the Port Authority being in existence, and so we're going to donate to the VOJN Primary School and the St. James Primary School some stationery, and this stationery goes to each student.
I would like to say thank you to the Nevis Air and Seaport Authority. I want to particularly say thank you to Mr. Brandy as he correctly said, sometimes the students are not aware of the careers which they can explore in alternative areas, and they tend to go the traditional route. And so with the flash drive and the information via the documentaries, I trust that they can learn a lot about the careers offered at NASPA, and they can perhaps be like me. I can let you know one of my first internships was at NASPA, and so they can also benefit from the training and the professionalism exhibited at the Nevis Air and Seaport Authority. Likewise, we want to say thank you for the stationery which has been presented to the VOGN Primary and the St. James Primary School, and we know that the students will benefit greatly from those as well. And so on behalf of all of those potential recipients, the staff and the students of those schools, I would like to say a heartfelt appreciation as well.
The presentations took place on Friday, November 30th. And finally,
we have to be kind to each other, because one of these days we won't always be here, but what we have done would be recorded and others will know about us.
Olive Jeffers will be the patron of this year's grand Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Nevis's capital, Charlestown. The annual event honors a resident of Nevis for outstanding community service. Olive Jeffers is the entrepreneur and founder of Happy Kids Nursery at Craddock Road.
There was a young lady, and she had moved to Craddock Road to live in the house facing my house, and she had got a job to work at Four Seasons, and she had one little girl, and she said one evening, she said, "Miss Jeffers, I want to go to work at Four Seasons. Could you keep my little girl for me until I come from work?" I tell her I'm going to think about it. And then I thought about it, and I said, well, I wasn't employed, so I could keep the little girl until she come back from work. After people saw this little girl by me, then another parent came and said, "Could you keep my little girl for me?" And I told her yes. And somebody else came and said, "Could you keep my little boy for me?" Until I finally end up with 6 of them.
According to Jeffers, who was recently interviewed by Denicia Smithen of the Department of Community Development, her nursery grew over time to accommodate up to 15 children.
If they come, and even if they don't have lunch, I would give them lunch. There was one little girl who I told her mother, "Don't worry about her lunch. I'll give her lunch every day." And every day I give that little girl her lunch. She is in primary school now and doing well. But her mother never forgot.
Her love for children was also demonstrated through her work with the Christian Children's Fund and her establishment of a Sunday school.
And that was in the 80s. And the children would come to the Sunday school, and they would sing, teach them a verse. But afterwards, as time rolled on and we got television and so on, they slacked off from coming from Sunday school. But some of them do remember. I'm glad I was able to do something in the community that the children, even today, they still have a memory. And because the good that we do, it lives on. Even after we are gone, it lives on, and people remember you for what you do.
Olive Jeffers, patron of this year's grand Christmas tree lighting. The highly anticipated ceremony will take place at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, December 5th at the War Memorial in Charlestown. That's how we end this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I'm Fredicia Liebert. Thank you for viewing.